This module aims to equip you with a rich understanding of international trade agreements, export control regulations, and the critical role of legal compliance in agricultural exports. It examines how trade policies, legal frameworks, and bilateral or multilateral treaties influence access to international markets. By mastering this module, you will be able to navigate legal frameworks confidently, leverage trade pacts for competitive advantage, and ensure that their export practices are fully compliant. Introduction to trade agreements in agri-export. Trade agreements are formal accords between two or more nations to reduce or eliminate barriers to the flow of goods, services, and capital. They determine the rules of engagement for global agricultural commerce. Exporters who understand and utilize these agreements can gain tariff reductions, simplified documentation processes, faster customs clearance, and increased buyer trust. Types of trade agreements. First, bilateral agreements between two countries, e.g., Nigeria-Morocco Agricultural Partnership. Second, multilateral agreements among several countries, e.g., WTO rules. Third, regional agreements specific to regional blocks, e.g., ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme. Key trade agreements relevant to African agri-exporters. African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, signed by 54 African Union member states, aims to create a single market for goods and services. Benefits for agri-exporters. Tariff reductions. Market access to 1.3+ billion people. Common sanitary and phytosanitary standards. Promotes cross-border agro-trade without excessive duties. ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme, ETLS, for West African countries. Allows approved products to move duty-free within the region. Requires registration and product certification. Ideal for exporters of staple crops, palm oil, cassava, cocoa, etc. C. AGOA, African Growth and Opportunity Act, USA. U.S. program allowing eligible sub-Saharan countries to export certain goods duty-free. Nigeria benefits through agri-products like sesame seeds, cocoa, and shea butter. Requires exporters to comply with U.S. standards and labeling regulations. D. EU-EPA, European Union Economic Partnership Agreement. Allows African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries to export to the EU market without quota or duty. Nigeria is still in the negotiation stage. Requires strict traceability, quality assurance, and sanitary certification. Export control regulations and bodies. Every country has national agencies responsible for export regulation to ensure food safety, trade compliance, and environmental sustainability. In Nigeria, these include: we will have a table with agency and Role 1. NEPC, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, issues export license, training, market access support 2. NAQS, Nigerian Agricultural Quarantine Service, issues phytosanitary certificates, inspects agri-exports 3, SAN, Standards Organization of Nigeria, ensures product meets quality and safety standards, 4. NCS, Nigeria Customs Service, enforces export laws, issues customs declarations. Key export regulations. Every exporter must know. 1. Export licensing. Every Nigerian agricultural exporter must register with NEPC and obtain an exporter's certificate. Second, product registration. Processed food items must be registered with NAFDAC, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control. Third, phytosanitary compliance. Exporters of raw, fresh agro products must have a quarantine inspection and phytosanitary certificate. Fourth, packaging and labeling laws. Must comply with the destination country's requirements. Language, weight, nutrition facts, allergen info, barcodes, etc. 5. Export prohibitions, restrictions. Some products are prohibited for export or need special permission, e.g., unprocessed wood, wildlife products. 6. Sanctions and blacklist compliance. Exporters must ensure they do not trade with blacklisted countries, buyers, or companies. 7th, SPS measures. International rules under WTO, ensuring food is safe for consumers and animals, and pest-free. Compliance and ethical practices in export trade. Compliance isn't just legal, it's strategic. Exporters who operate with integrity, follow ethical practices, and comply with standards attract more international buyers, gain access to financing and trade credits, face fewer inspections and faster customs clearance, enjoy brand credibility and long-term sustainability. Common areas of ethical non-compliance: under-invoicing, false declaration of product weight/grade, smuggling through informal routes, tampering with expiry dates or certifications. These practices may lead to export license revocation, criminal prosecution, loss of international trust. Leveraging trade agreements for market entry. Here's how smart exporters leverage trade agreements. We will have a table with strategy and explanation. First, tariff analysis. Compare duty rates across regions under trade pacts. Second, market matching. Match export product to demand areas within trade zones. 3. Use trade missions. Participate in trade expos organized under AFCFTA or AGOA. 4. Utilize export guides. NEPC, ITC, International Trade Center, and WTO publish guides tailored to each country. Case study: how one exporter used AFCFTA to scale their cassava chips business. In 2023, a cassava processor in Ogun State leveraged AFCFTA to export their products to Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire. By registering under the ECOWAS ETLS and joining a regional trade platform, they eliminated 30% in tariffs, gained exposure at AFCFTA-sponsored trade fairs, secured contracts with 3 supermarket chains, hired 2 compliance consultants to align labeling with Ghana Food and Drugs Authority standards. Lesson: trade agreements work, but only for those who are willing to do the legal homework and stay compliant.